Hey guys, Gabe here from The Wire. Good evening from southern Italy. Quick update on day 4 of the Israeli-Gaza War. Not a whole lot happening today in terms of conflict taking place today. There's still some smaller operations by the IDF and other security agencies to mop up terrorists that are still inside of Israel. Um, There were some additional attempts to infiltrate Israel from Gaza that were thwarted by the IDF. Not a whole lot of activity along the northern border either. I just saw some updates a few minutes ago that there was some Israeli military activity attacking Hezbollah after Hezbollah had attacked an Israeli base yesterday. So there's a little bit of tit for tat going on up there. There were a few tense moments when there was thoughts that maybe something like explosive drones were coming over the border from Syria, but that turned out to be false alarm, which is good. So everybody up there is stocking up and hunkering down and just staying close to their shelters for now. So thank you for your continued prayers for our FAI friends and family up in the northern Galilee and Golan. They appreciate it. They know that many of you are watching and praying, and they feel your prayers and concern. Down in Gaza, airstrikes are continuing in the Gaza Strip. There's a very well-known and wealthy community in Gaza, although Gaza often gets the reputation of being an open-air prison and a hellhole. There are actually, believe it or not, very ritzy neighborhoods within Gaza that have very wealthy people living there, mostly people that are in the upper echelons of Hamas or well connected to Hamas business-wise. Interestingly, that neighborhood in particular is completely leveled in the middle of Gaza City. It's a wasteland now. So the IDF has already done a lot to go after not only top Hamas officials, but really the we could say the ruling elite of the Gaza Strip. Was really their intention, from the beginning to make it clear that the gloves are off, and so that message has been sent. Hamas has made some threats to, like Ashkelon, for instance, an Israeli community just north of Sderot. They fired some. We saw some red alerts for missile fire, for rocket fire earlier today. Not a whole lot of activity. Everybody's just kind of waiting with bated breath to see what the IDF's next move is going to be. Hamas has done what they can to sort of preempt the Israeli ground offensive. They've threatened to begin broadcasting live the execution of hostages. Israeli parents received a message today saying, hey, if your kids have TikTok or other apps on their phone that receive videos that Hamas may be using, they may be sending out videos of hostages begging for their lives. So remove those apps from your kids' phones so they don't get traumatized by it. So there is a lot of posturing, a lot of threatening. Meanwhile, the Israeli war machine continues to gear up and get ready to take action in Gaza. We're expecting something to start in terms of an actual incursion in the next couple of days. Obviously, the top priority will be the rescue of hostages. Interestingly, we saw a team of elite U.S. Special Forces arrive in Israel today that may be there to be ready to rescue American hostages. There were several American nationals, mostly Israeli Americans, that were taken hostage at the music festival and taken into Gaza. So the United States is now on the ground coordinating with the Israeli military in preparation to do rescue operations if they can. The USS Gerald Ford, the largest and most advanced aircraft carrier in the world, is now approaching the eastern Mediterranean coast. The United States has now begun to take steps to not enter the conflict, but sort of stand at the edge of it and say, hey, this is our red line. Right now, the red line is if Hezbollah jumps into the fight, that the United States will take action. It's unknown at this point what that would mean, but this is a carrier that has 90 fighter jets on it, so you can imagine that would involve airstrikes. Already, one of my friends in the Northern Galilee, Devin, who you met last night, mentioned that there was some low flyovers by U.S. jets in the Northern Galilee and Golan. So the United States is already flying sorties, and whether that's just reconnaissance or just to make a statement to Hezbollah or to others in the area, they are making their presence known. Posturing also from Syria. Israel threatened Bashar al-Assad, the dictator of Syria, yesterday through back channels, made it clear to him that if Hezbollah conducts any attacks from the Syrian side of the Golani border into Israel, that he personally and his government in Damascus would become legitimate targets. So a lot of threatening, a lot of posturing, a lot of sizing up right now. And so far, Hezbollah, it appears anyway, has blinked. Not really sure why they haven't entered the conflict. I was talking to Devin about this the other day. Really, if Hezbollah was going to jump into this thing, it would have been wisest for them to do that on day one, when they could have caught the Israelis off guard. They didn't jump in on day one. They still haven't really jumped in. They've just been nibbling around the edges, so to speak. A few Hezbollah members tried an incursion yesterday, got shot. I think 10 were wounded, 4 killed, something like that. They shot a anti-tank missile at the command of the Northern Galilee IDF. Didn't really cause any casualties. There's been some rocket fire, some mortar fire at Israeli installations, but definitely not anything close to an all-out offensive. So Hezbollah has already stated that they will enter the conflict if Israel goes on the ground into Gaza. It's very clear that at this point that Israel is going on the ground into Gaza. We'll see if Hezbollah actually follows through or not. There have been reports that Iran is goading Hezbollah into the fight. I'm pretty sure Hassan Nasrallah understands what that would mean for him and his organization. That would be, of course, a devastating war, but one that he will probably lose. And that will probably be the end of Hezbollah in southern Lebanon if he goes all in against Israel. So he may be hesitating, but we will see if that's the case. Meantime, we thank you for continuing to pray right now. It's just a lot of trauma. They're still continuing to uncover the extent of the carnage in southern Israel. In a couple communities down there today, they found dozens of young children, babies, murdered, including babies that had been beheaded. I mean, this is the kind of evil that even ISIS didn't perpetrate against their victims. So Hamas is already a leg up in terms of their demonic inspiration up and above ISIS. So a lot of Israeli communities still hurting. There's nobody that doesn't know somebody that is affected by this. Israel's a small country, only 9 million people. So please continue to pray that things stay quiet on the northern front. We know that war is probably coming someday, but we're praying it's not now. Many of the Israeli communities along the border in the Upper Galilee are beginning to evacuate slowly and methodically, but they are evacuating. Same thing on the Lebanese side of the border. Many Lebanese communities are evacuating and going north, all in anticipation of a potential war along the northern front. So day 4, mostly uneventful in terms of new developments in the war, but still judging the size and scope and wrapping our heads around the evil that was committed last Saturday. So thank you all for your prayers. Thank you all for your support. If you can, please prayerfully consider donating to FAI's bomb shelter campaign and some of our other Israeli initiatives. You can go to FAI.online/donate. There's a button for our Israeli initiatives at the very top of that page. Just click on that button and you can give to one of several initiatives that Marco and Dalton have been talking about. FAI Israel is kicking into high gear and doing whatever we possibly can to assist Israeli communities around the country during this time. So thank you again. We love you all. Blessings and Maranatha.